Hey, let your voice be heard. Tune in to Vikings Fan Line following every Vikings game, presented by Verizon. Listen in right here on KFAN and anywhere on the free iHeartRadio app.
Couple 13-14 past hour number 2. We start it with an all-time favorite. We call it 5-3-4.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Question number 1.
Time now for an in-depth look at the state of hockey.
Kirill
Kaprizov.
He tallied 3 points in the Wild's 5-3 win over the Penguins last night in Pittsburgh. It was Kaprizov's 6th consecutive game with multiple points, and he now leads the National Hockey League with 18 points in 9 games. Common, is Kirill
Kaprizov.
the best player in the world?
Well, I'll leave that up to you. I've heard that Connor McDavid is overrated. Some would say it's Connor McDavid. They're those old guys. Does Crosby even play anymore?
Well, yeah, he played last night against the Wild. Yeah.
Is he still considers he past his prime?
He's not considered the best player in the world. No,
Okay.
he's still considered very good,
All right.
especially for his age. But
How about Mario Tremblay, Yvon Cornwallis, Frank Mahovlich, any of those old timers? Do you think he's the best player in the National Hockey League?
I would still have McDavid there and McKinnon there and probably Cale Makar, but I would also say
Objects in your mirror may be closer than they appear.
It seems as though early in the season, we were talking a lot about the high voltage line. Is that what we decided we were going to call it?
I hadn't heard that one. I kind of like that one, though.
High voltage line of Rossi, Kaprizov, and who am I forgetting? Zuccarello. There's 3 R's in there. We call them the 3 R's. The rolling
the Pirates. R's.
The R's. The rolling R's. It seemed as though Kaprizov was getting a lot of Zamboni cred, ice cred, for passing, right?
Yeah.
Because, not that he doesn't assist, but he's kind of considered goal scorer, and he was dumping the puck off to the other guys in the line. They were scoring. Is that like something that is any different? Or?
No, he's always been a good passer.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the guys you're passing to are putting the puck in the net, whereas before they weren't. Or maybe the addition of Rossi gives you a third guy in that line, whereas previously you didn't necessarily have that. But Kaprizov's historically been a slow starter. He's always gotten out of the gate slow, and he picks it up as the season goes along, and he's coming out of the gates flying. He's been really, really good, and the longer he keeps us up, you're going to hear him in the Hart conversation for MVP. And even like his assists are like, sometimes you can get like kind of like bogus assists, right? Like there's 2 assists can be given on any one goal. So sometimes like one guy can make an easy pass and the other guy actually makes the play that sets it up. Yet the second person also gets an assist on it. But Kaprizov's assist, like last night, he sprung Goudreau open for that breakaway. He had a brilliant pass over to Zuccarello. Like he's drawing the attention and making the plays. So his points are well earned points.
How about, because they all have a 3, an R in there, Kaprizov, Zuccarello, and
Rossi.
Do we call them the 3 Aardvarks? The 3 Aardvarks. Guess where we got that one from? Who do you think?
It better not be Maury
It
Amsterdam.
was Maury Amsterdam.
That's one of his worst.
Yeah. I kind of like it, actually. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Does anybody wear 99 for Chicago? So when he gets there, because doesn't he wear 99? Will he have to buy the jersey?
He wears 97.
Oh, 97.
99 cannot be worn.
Okay.
That's Gretzky's.
No.
Nobody dares Where's that?
That's the silliest thing I've ever heard. 97. Is somebody in Chicago have 97 already? Will he have to ask for permission?
Is Bedard 97? What number is Bedard?
To get 97, and he's not going anywhere. He loves it here. He's never going to leave. He's going to sign a long-term, lifetime contract.
Oh, Bedard is 98.
And he's going to lead us to all sorts of Stanley Cup championships.
Well, he wanted to win. They're 6-1-2.
Yeah.
You happy here now, Kirill?
Yeah, you happy? You know, if you don't like winning, go somewhere else, because all we do is win.
All we do is win, and you're going to get paid a lot of money here.
Correct.
Question number 2.
And he likes hunting and fishing and all that
Does
stuff.
he really?
Oh, yeah, in Russia, yeah. Actually, where he grew up in Russia, Minnesota is very comparable to.
Very much.
Other than that whole freedom thing.
Right.
And now it's time for the 7th inning stretch.
Dun, 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 dun.
Anthony Volpe hit a third-inning grand slam as the Yankees staved off elimination, taking down the Dodgers 11-4 last night to force a Game 5. L.A. leads the series 3-1 with Game 5 tonight for a chance at the gentleman's sweep. Common percent chance the Yankees can pull off the miracle comeback from down 3-0.
I think, what did you call the guy that hit the grand slam?
I don't know his last name.
It's Volpe.
Oh, Volpe.
I looked. I'm fascinated with pronunciations, as you know. I actually Googled it, and they said in Italian it's pronounced Volpe.
Lovely day.
And then it
Anthony
said,
Volpe.
but then here's what's even funnier. He goes, in English it's pronounced Volpe, so it's the same, and it's pronounced the same whether it's the kid's from New York. Did you know that? I read a little bit about him. He's from New York. He was 8 years old when the Yankees won their last World Series. Their family are huge Yankee fans. They idolize and pedestalize is what they do. And it looked like it was Freddie Freeman. We've been talking about Freddie Freeman for a couple of weeks now. He hit his third consecutive home run in a World Series. Plus, if you go back to the last time he was in a World Series, which was, I don't know, a couple of years ago, the last 2 games of that series, he hit home runs. So in his last 5 World Series games.
I think it's 6, actually.
Is it 6
they played
now?
4 games now.
So you're absolutely right. He's hit 6 in the last 6 World Series games he's played in. He has hit a home run in each one of those games, 2-0. I thought it was over at that point. I basically checked out. I must admit. You know what? I doubted the Yankees. And then Volpe hits the home run. They get a couple of more other homers late, and they're back in it. Now, I also saw another note. I'll get it for later because I want to talk more baseball anyways. But because there's a couple of interesting issues from the baseball game that we need to talk about, including maybe the most egregious fan interference I've ever seen in my entire life. Did you see it? Did you see the
one where they were taking it up?
Yeah, they're basically
ripping it out of
tearing
his
the
glove.
ball out of his glove. So we want to talk about that as well. But yeah, I mean, do I think they're going to win the next 3? It's only been done once, never in the World Series when the Red Sox did it to the Yankees all those years ago. So I doubt it, but you know what? Never say never, Tenneby.
Question number 3. And now it's time to go in the trenches.
The Vikings' opponent this week is the Indianapolis Colts. They've made a change at quarterback. Anthony Richardson has been benched in favor of Joe Flacco. The head coach, Shane Steichen, was under the microscope from the media today talking about the change. And he was asked whether it's the plan for Anthony Richardson to ever start for this Colts franchise again.
I can't predict that, but I'm not losing faith in that. I promise you that. I can't predict the future, but I mean, that would be great. We'll see.
Common, are they handling the Anthony Richardson situation the right way in Indianapolis?
I don't know. They don't handle much very well in Indianapolis. I don't know. I know we got to win. We got to win now, and I think Joe Flacco, at least right now, gives them the best chance. They couldn't be already. Is this his second year in the league?
Well, and he was hurt most of last year. I think he played maybe 4 games last year.
So then I don't know how they could be writing him off already. I mean, was he the guy that said he got tuckered and pulled himself out of the game, or who was that? Yeah. And again, that's a little okay. Now, he had just run like 90 yards or something, right? Or he had a long run.
Yeah.
But still, I don't know. But if that's what they're judging it on, well, he just pulled himself. Well, no, because he was he the second pick overall? Is that what you told me in the draft?
I believe that's correct.
Second
Yes.
pick. I would be stunned that they've already come to a determination after, like you say, 4 games last year and this year that he's not the guy. That would be.
But technically, I mean, how many times has a quarterback been benched in these situations and then they come back and they start in their franchise quarterback moving forward? That don't happen a whole lot.
No.
Right? Like your Zach Wilsons don't fall. You look at the quarterbacks who have been drafted over the last 3-4 years, the vast majority of them have been busts.
Yeah.
If you're now counting Anthony Richardson a bust.
Yeah.
But how many of them have been benched? I don't know if. I don't think they're. I think I would agree that Joe Flacco gives them the best chance to win, but I also don't think that's still the right way to go. Because Joe Flacco is just going to take your middle of the road Colts team. Maybe you slide into the 7th the last wild card spot, and you lose in the first round of the playoffs. What is that going to gain you?
Yeah.
You've now destroyed the confidence of your quarterback, your hopeful franchise quarterback moving forward. And what's the future of the Indianapolis Colts?
Yeah, I guess when you phrase it that way, I guess I really wasn't paying attention to the question. I was just waiting for my turn to have lunch, which I forgot somewhere. I can't find my lunch. But you're right. For the immediate right now this week, Flacco's your guy. But you're right. Does it really matter?
Not worth it.
Right?
Yeah.
Does it really matter? Especially if you have. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Well, especially I didn't even play the audio, but Steichen was talking today about how Richardson needs more game reps to feel more comfortable. Well, how is he going to get game reps on the bench?
I don't know. Maybe Sega. Did they do a football thing? Madden 2025. We'll break. We'll come back.
That's it for today's edition of 5 questions. Well, actually, 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
And as we go to break, Tenna B has got a keyword for us. What you got, Tenna?
The Fan and 2 men in a junk truck want to give you a shot to put $1,000 in your hand with our national cash contest. Just enter the keyword dollar at KFAN.com now for a shot at winning. That keyword is dollar. Enter now at KFAN.com.
What's up, Carmen?
Not much.
Wrong button. Hey, your Minnesota Wild are off to a hot start to the season. Don't miss out on seeing them in action. Tickets are available now at wild.com/hockey tickets. That's wild.com/hockey tickets to get your tickets today.
You hit the wrong button there during the
Yeah.
Have you ever done that during a Vikings game as master control supervisor? Really? What happens then is that I would think here they would overlook it. It's just a Midland midday show. But on the Vikings radio network, do you get the glare from Abbott, or does he go, you're not doing the things you used to do to make you good? Or is they just kind of, it probably happens so infrequently because you are master control supervisor.
Say one, I'm a human being. We all make mistakes.
Right.
None of us are perfect.
Yeah, we're not.
2, if you replace me, that person's going to make more mistakes than me. So
Yeah. Do you average? I mean, does it happen like every game? Is there anything, or is it like once a year? I mean, I'm just kind of trying
I mean, every game there's probably a mistake or 2. Usually it's nothing major. Usually not very significant.
In other words, the audience probably doesn't know it, but you knew it.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And you lose sleep over it, I'm sure.
No, not at all.
No, you don't. Not at all. Okay. Did you have it? It sounds like Kara
found one.
She
Yeah,
found a talk
I was
back.
about to play it there.
It's a talk back. What is it today? Wednesday? That alliteration's not good. We'll call it a was up Wednesday. Here we go.
What's up, Carmen?
See, what's
This
up?
is TJ from Brooklyn Park. Man, you not appreciated enough. Your sense of humor, your comedy, and your brilliance is just not appreciated, man. And I'm here to tell you, I appreciate you, Carmen. I really, really appreciate you. And your genius and your knowledge. Later, Gator.
Oh.
After a while, crocodile.
Gotta go, Buffalo.
I gotta go. I never heard that one. Gotta go, Buffalo.
Oh, there's a whole book of them. There's a
I didn't know.
Kid's book, yeah.
Yeah. I like it. I appreciate that. I mean, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way. And so, but I do my best. You're getting ripped.
Okay.
It makes it, talking about, starting Flacco over.
Do you want KOC, by the way?
Yeah, is he right now?
Yeah.
Well, let's go. Let's do KOC.
You know, played a lot of close games, and you know, Shane does a really nice job coaching that team up. They play good football. We've got to do the same to give ourselves a good chance to win the game. Very much looking forward to that. We got to have a good week of prep. Got off to a good start just now, and get back into a normal rhythm here as we roll. As you guys, you know, have heard and seen, we did acquire Cam Robinson via trade from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Compliments to KOC and his group for being able to acquire a player like this. You know, when you lose a player like Christian Darrisaw, it's so catastrophic because he means so much to your team, your offense, but also just from a standpoint of losing such a veteran presence that we rely so much on. So to find a player of Cam's caliber in season like KOC was able to do, very much looking forward to getting him here. He should be arriving any minute now, you know, completing whatever medical, physical process we have for him, and then he'll be immediately inserted into meetings, and hope to have him practice fully tomorrow and then on into the weekend. We'll see where he's at. If he's able to go for us this weekend, that'll be great. I got a chance to speak with him yesterday. Excited to be here, excited to be a Minnesota Viking, and we're very much really excited to have him. Yeah, we've kind of worked through both pre that trade and then post kind of what it looks like from the standpoint of that group up there. We've got a good plan in place. We'll see how Cam does when he gets in, and don't want him, you know, if he's ready to go and prepared, I'd like to get him in the mix there. If for whatever reason it's got to be, you know, either situational or something where we maybe hold him out and give him, you know, a full week of prep next week. We'll kind of play it as it goes here this week, and you know, see how it goes. But I think we've got a good plan for the line in place.
What's the process like for a guy to step in at that spot? I mean, quarterback is obviously very tough. Like, what's the level of difficulty in picking up a new system as a left tackle?
Yeah, I think first and foremost we'll need to find, you know, similarities. System that he ran, hey, it's the exact same thing here. Maybe just learning the words, and we've got great communicators up there on the offensive line from Garrett on out that you know, can help him, and really when you get into it in certain phases of your offense, first and second down, there might be some nuances to the run game or play action protections here and there, but the tackle spot is one where you know, on those weighty downs and drop back pass and those things, you're blocking the defensive end, and whether we say peaches or whatever it is, really doesn't matter. So I think, you know, veteran players played, you know, over 90 starts in his career. That guy's played a lot of football, and I think it was playing really well, you know, when we at the time of acquiring him, and I know he's healthy and will be ready to roll. So like I said, you know, haven't gotten a chance to physically see him yet, but he'll be here momentarily, and we'll roll from there. Not something at other positions we haven't accomplished before, so expect him to get ready to go. We'll see where he's at this weekend.
Where are you at with Blake Cashman?
Yeah, Blake will do. He will do basically a full allotment of work on the side field today, just to make sure, you know, he feels ready to roll moving into the week of practice. If for whatever reason, you know, it might be smart to hold him for this week. I think we can have some pretty good understanding after today about where Blake's at. He's done everything we've asked him to do, and you know, I'm still really hopeful we'll have him Sunday night.
JB 100% good to go?
Yep.
No snap count?
Yep. No, with you know, just how it naturally works out at that position with having a guy like Josh Oliver and Johnny Munt, you know, who've done some really good things. I think it'll naturally work itself out, but I think TJ's ready to play. He's, you know, as good as he's really looked since we've gotten him here, and that's saying something considering the impact he made right away in 22, and then the season he was having last year at the time when he got hurt. So I know he's excited. Everybody's excited to have him back out there. Huge part of our, you know, system and offense and organization to have 87 back out there.
after 2 losses in a row, how do you make sure doubt doesn't creep in on this team? Are you confident that?
I think there's a reason why we talk about each week being its own challenge, its own, set of goals and standards and what we think it's going to take to win the game. We've got to have intentional focus to do everything we can to win one football game, while also understanding and acknowledging both coaches and players things that have contributed to losing 2 games in 5 days. The good thing is we won 5 in a row before that, so these guys, hopefully haven't forgotten the standard they kind of set for themselves against some really good football teams. I think we're still a confident team that also is incredibly aware and kind of has that team-wide, coaching staff-wide responsibility of the things we can all do a little bit better. And I felt that from our team early on in the week here, but got to have a great week of preparation and see it transform into just a consistent effort. I think, for our offense, we've done a lot of really good things. There's just been some times where, 1st and 10 to 1st and 15 to 2nd and 25 to 3rd and 25, that's doing too much to help our opponents. And then defensively, just getting back to our style, all 11 execution, attacking mentality. And I think the kicking game's been pretty solid over these last 2-3 weeks, where if they can continue to stack some really good performances, we'll continue to help our team, whether it's Will, or Ryan. The specialists have been phenomenal, and I really like what Trent Sherfield and Jay Ward have done at the gunner spot. And then we've got some core teamers that are really showing up each and every week in all 4 phases. So individual areas of our team to collectively have focus on, and we've kind of set out with some real tangible things to do a little bit better, things we can consistently continue to do, and just how many snaps in a row in the game can we do that as a team and hopefully get off to a fast start.
How are you feeling about Aaron Jones' workload these days? And where can they factor into it?
Yeah, I think Cam and Ty both factor in, just as impactful as Aaron's been. It's been remarkable, Ben, what he's been able to do, even considering, where he was at coming out of the Jets game, and then the type of snaps he's been able to give us. We only had 50 against the Rams, so that kind of limited just the overall numbers for our group. But I think we're going to have to, Cam's here for a reason, as is Ty. I think we're going to have to see those guys get some touches and continue to have Aaron be a featured part of the game plan every week, because that's why he's here. So I think we've just got to continue to have a mindset of those snap counts going into games, and then how these games play out. Hopefully we can stay true to that, because I think it's important over these next 10 games for sure.
Are you ever surprised with what Quincy is able to cook up in such a short time window to get Cam Robinson in here?
I think it's a credit to him and his staff, and being able to get that done in a timely manner, where sometimes the deadlines for other sides might not equal having a player here for a Wednesday practice. It's pretty cool to know that the dialogue him and I have immediately after a game, in a situation like we were, where you lose one of your premier players. We've got a lot of confidence in our team, and to be able to go get a guy like Cam to still allow us to play over these next 10-plus games, hopefully, the way we want to play. So, surprised, no, but very thankful for the work that him and his group do.
Kevin, you talked with PA about maybe wanting to have a little more of a fast break type offense at times. Is that something where maybe those are being defended or they're not being taken, or do you need to be kind of conscious about that being part of the concept?
I think it's just a mindset overall of our offense. Whether it is getting a defensive game plan where people are trying to put a roof over the concepts. We've been pretty darn explosive for the most part when we have all 11 guys executing. Past games kind of been like that. But I think we can, get the ball out of our hands a little faster. That doesn't mean we're not going to be attacking the top shelf. You saw it even last Thursday. I mean, Josh Oliver goes for 25 on a check down. Johnny Monk goes for 11 on a check down. Aaron Jones, Cam, Ty. I mean, we can apply pressure a lot of different ways with how we're attacking people, both vertically, but we've got some really good route runners. Get TJ back will obviously help that. And that mindset means a lot of things. In between the snaps and obviously during the snaps. And I think Sam's played at a really high level, and we can just continue to help him from a philosophical perspective, play intent, kind of what we're hunting and the risk reward on some things where maybe it's not turnovers, but holding the ball, trying to make things right based upon his confidence in either the play, the diagram, what he thought it would be, and then more importantly, his confidence in the guys running routes for him. But all of that comes with just volume of plays, and I think we want to possess the ball. We don't want to, force our defense to be out there for more snaps than they need to, and that's where we, get off the field on defense a little bit more, which really was a penalty-driven discussion last Thursday. But we've got to do that, and then vice versa on offense. We can't just have drives where, the first 18 plays of the game, I think we had 1 third down, which was 3rd and 1, and we sneak it. Other than that, it was just consistent execution. 1st and 10, 2nd and 5, 1st and 10, 2nd and 3, and you can go on and on and on. And then what changed? I think it's just that intentional focus to make sure all 11 guys have pre and post snap play style that we want. And I have a ton of confidence we're going to get there. I got to do a better job overall making sure that happens.
Well, there we go. That's the head coach of the soon-to-be world champion Minnesota Vikings. It sounded like a real glowing review of Sam Darnold at quarterback. We're excited and delighted. They asked, will Cam Robinson be ready to play on Sunday? He goes, well, he'll do this. He'll be in the starting lineup Sunday. Trust me. Tennessee's got Brian Oak on the other side of the break with Rock Talk. But right now, Wild Today with Tennessee.
Yeah, this is Wild Today, brought to you by Jim Beam, the official bourbon of the Minnesota Wild. The Wild finished off their 7-game road trip with a win, beating the Penguins 5-3 last night in Pittsburgh. And Freddie Gaudreau came alive.
Here for the Penguins if they want it, but Lars Eller had his pass blocked, and it's a jailbreak. Freddie Gaudreau's in alone. Gaudreau scores! Freddie Gaudreau's got a 2-goal game. As the Penguins got caught, Gaudreau stuck behind him. Kaprizov put it on his tape, and the Wild have their first lead. It's 3-2 Minnesota.
You could hear that call last night right here on the Fan. Gaudreau entered the game with 0 points. Now he has 3. He tallied 2 goals and an assist last night. Kirill Kaprizov assisted that highlight you heard on that pass to Gaudreau. He had 3 points on the night. Marc-Andre Fleury stopped 26 of 29 shots in what was most likely his final game in Pittsburgh. Wild are back home on Friday night when they host the Tampa Bay Lightning. That was Wild Today, brought to you by Jim Beam, a crowd pleaser since 1795. Rock Talk is next.
Want to chime in on what's happening with your favorite KFAN program? Make your voice heard on the Bradshaw and Bryant text line. Let us know what you have to say by texting your message to 64686. That's 64686. Standard message and data rates apply.
Couple 13-14 past Common Man program. That's the voice of Kara. Tennessee is here, so am I, the Common Man. Excited and delighted to be joined by Brian Oak for another edition of Rock Talk. If you don't get enough of Rock Talk today, you just can podcast Brian Oak. He has his own podcast.
I do, in fact, more than 435 episodes in. We're recording 2 more tomorrow. One will come out tomorrow. One will come out over the weekend or early next week. And we just like to bang through them. We like to talk to local musicians. We like to talk to members of our community. For instance, this week we are going to be talking to a couple of women, entrepreneurs, if you will, who have started a new Minnesota-based company called Northwoods Goth. And it's cool. It's not as spooky as it sounds. It's not like going into a Hot Topic at the Mall of America. It's actually really cool, kind of Northwoods-oriented stuff. And then local musician Jillian Ray will join us early next week.
Sweet. And you can find that where on iHeart radio app or anywhere where you get your podcast.
It's not everywhere, but it's a free app, that iHeart Radio app. And from what I understand, it's #1 for podcasting.
Yes,
so why not go through there if you're looking for the Brian Oak Show? And that's Oak with an E at the end of
That's what we would suggest. Grammy nominations will be announced a week from Friday. So we don't know who they are. I've got a pretty good idea. You know me, I keep up to date on popular music.
It's one of the biggest lies I've ever heard come out of your mouth.
Things you'll never hear Common say. I really enjoy today's modern music.
I know you do.
Things that you'll never hear Mark Rosen say would include, I really enjoy the Minnesota State Fair. Come for the food, stay for the people.
I always love that one.
Things you'll never hear Mark Rosen say. Put away your wallets, everyone. I'll pick up that check.
Oh!
Anyway.
I didn't know. Is he alligator arms like that?
We'll talk about that another time.
Okay,
From what the people tell me, and I must admit, I don't listen. If it was recorded after 1971, I'm not real familiar with it. Right. Other than, I wander the hallways and over on our overheads, you hear music, sometimes you hear such. And then
But do you stop and Shazam the song, or you're just like, oh, that sounds like a thing?
No,
with the stuff?
I'm not totally oblivious to like Taylor Swift. I get it, Adele and all the others. But there are the four biggest categories are album of the year, record of the year, song of the year, and new artist of the year.
Correct.
Album of the year. These are what people think will probably be the nominees. One might not. Then again, there might be another that's not in this list that I've stumbled across.
Well, let's be honest. The Grammys are weird, right? Like it's all sort of hidden behind dark curtains. No one really knows how it all works.
Cowboy Carter by Beyonce.
Well, it is Beyonce, so I would not be surprised. Yeah.
Sabrina Carpenter, her album Short and Sweet.
One Swift came out this morning saying that she is the future pop princess of our world.
Charlie XCX with an album called Brat.
Number one.
Or is it Brat? Is she talking to you?
I would love a decent brat right now with just the right amount of spicy mustard on it. Oh, man, does that sound good. But no, Charlie XCX, international pop star, and Brat is another one of those records. I work part-time at a record store. Can't keep it in stock.
Really?
Yep.
And Short and Sweet, same thing. Sabrina Carpenter, she's a pop star.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And but also
young,
like approachable
21,
female
right?
singer-songwriter. Exactly. There are a lot of Taylor Swift prototypes out there. I don't know that any of them I see right now are ever going to reach quite Taylor Swift levels, other than maybe Chapel Roan. But again, no one can predict the future. I don't think even when Taylor Swift was riding high, anybody thought she was going to be what Taylor Swift is now.
Billie Eilish hit me hard and soft.
Mm-hmm.
Billie Eilish, she came onto the scene 5, 6, 7 years. I don't remember exactly when, but again, another one of those 19 years old, 18, whatever, young, and is a superstar. Correct?
She and her brother Phineas, they worked on some songs together, put them out on the internet, and it's another classic example. Like it wasn't a slow burn; it was like an overnight explosion when she put Ocean Eyes out. She had done a song or two before that, but when Ocean Eyes came out, it was all over. And Billie Eilish, she's still riding the wave.
Ariana Grande with an album called Eternal Sunshine. Can you keep it on the shelves?
Yes.
Okay.
So again, that's not to say that she's not a wildly impactful international superstar. I feel like the buzz, especially with all these other young up-and-comers like Sabrina Carpenter, I feel like Ariana she's going to be fine. She's already made her money.
Wasn't her claim to fame licking the icing off donuts and putting them back on the bakery shelf? Didn't she do that with
She said she did it once. I don't know if it's her claim to fame.
It's not. It's what I remember most about her.
Well, then to you, yes, that's the extent of Ms. Grande's career. Licking donuts.
She hosted Saturday Night Live a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yes, she did. Yes,
and so again, like I said, she's still a big deal. I just don't feel like the buzz is there like it is with some of these other artists.
Post Malone did an album called F1 Trillion.
That's too bad.
Can you keep that on the shelves? You're not a Post Malone guy?
I'm not a facial tattoo guy.
Well,
I don't care what your music. No, is it the?
Well, he's not getting, or now he hasn't gotten the nomination yet. But if he does, it's not because best facial tattoos. It's for best album,
best auto tuning.
Oh, is that what that is?
But yeah,
okay.
Again, right. And here's the deal. I'm in the minority. Millions upon millions upon millions of people love Post Malone. I'm just not among them. I wouldn't.
You don't have to like him, but you got to respect him.
Oh, Christ.
Well, you do.
No, you don't.
You have to respect him.
No, I do not. Again, but people do love Post Malone. And so I wouldn't be surprised if he got the nom.
The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess is the album that you can't keep on the shelves. That would be
Chapel Roan.
Chapel Roan.
Yeah, it's kind of like Noah Kahan, where Noah Kahan came out of nowhere a couple of years ago and sold out 2 nights in a row at the XL, and I'm like, whomst? And Chapel Roan's the same deal, although I like Chapel Roan's music better. It's nuts. We literally cannot keep it on the shelf at the record store.
It's $38 from what I've heard.
Well, 28, 38, 48, I don't know. There's probably 18 different variations with splatter vinyl and black vinyl and posters, but it's not inexpensive, and it just, as soon as we get them, they fly out the door.
Taylor Swift, the tortured poets department.
Again, it's almost impossible to fathom that we live in a world where she doesn't get a nomination for this.
Do we know if I will skim reviews, and sometimes I wonder if it's people just trying to be different. I saw one where it got kind of panned a little bit that she's trying too hard to send all these messages. She's kind of that kind of a singer-songwriter, and she's actually kind of just regurgitating other songs just worded different ways. And now, not to say it's not good. I'm just saying that's one of the reviews I read, and it's got a lot of songs on it, right?
I haven't listened to a second of it, and so I personally do not know. But I will say this, over the course of popular music history, if someone hits it as massive as she's hit it in the last 2 years, that's generally when you take a little time for yourself, right? You can keep writing music and put some stuff out.
Right.
But a whole brand new record already?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if I had arguably the biggest concert tour in the history of concert tours in the Western world.
Eras, I think is what it was called.
Correct.
Thank you.
I would probably, I'd probably take a little downtime. I might go to Fiji or something.
Record of the year. This list says they feel there are 4 people that will be in the running for Record of the Year. That would be Beyonce's Texas Hold'em.
Yep.
Sabrina Carpenter's Espresso. Billie Eilish's Birds of a Feather, and Hoosier. Too Sweet. Hozier, is that who that is?
Yeah.
Who is that a man or a woman?
That is a man. He is an Irish singer-songwriter, a tall drink of water, very artisty, lady swoon in his presence, and he's a brilliant songwriter. Actually, he's pretty great.
Okay. And his song is called Too Sweet. Who do you think wins that? Do you think those will be the nominees? Well, forget if you think they'll be the nominees. Do you think any of those songs are worthy of Record of the Year? Or do you have one that's a particular favorite for you?
I don't have a particular song. I'm not.
There's more. I'm sorry. I should mention Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, Die with a Smile.
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick Lamar, Not Like Us.
Right.
Chappell Roan, Good Luck, Babe. And my favorite, Shaboozey, A Bar Song. Tipsy. That's what I'm going with.
You give me just the vaguest melody of Shaboozey right now, and I will. Anything you want.
Which one of those do you think?
Well, there's a lot of speculation I saw online as well that this could be one of those years because the Grammys have a tendency to get caught up in their own drama, and there are a lot of people speculating that Chappell Roan and Sabrina Carpenter might each be nominated in all 4 of the big categories. Now, again, there's no way to know until next Friday, right? November 8th is when we're going to find out for sure, album, record, song, and best new artist. But that would be if that happened, only the 3rd time in Grammy history that 2 artists have achieved that feat in the same year. First time, Billie Eilish and Lizzo both did it 5 years ago.
Okay.
All 4 categories. And then
Christopher Cross, didn't he?
No.
Well, what did Christopher Cross do? He also has some kind of...
No, it's the same.
Unfathomable
two
records.
Artists in the same year.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And so Olivia Rodriguez and Billie Eilish's brother Phineas both did it 3 years ago. So I think a lot of people, just the people who like to bet and like big splashy things like that, they think Chappell Roan and Sabrina Carpenter. I'm going to be honest. I've only listened through the record probably 3 or 4 times. I'm voting for Chappell Roan, man. It seems to be an unusual thing as afoot here, and I'm interested to see how it unfolds.
I thought Christopher Cross did, though. Didn't he set some record?
He probably did. Yeah, no, but this is 2 artists in 1 year.
He was I think, Song of the Year, Record of the Year, Album of the Year, New Artist. I think he swept all 4, and only one other person's done that.
Yeah.
And I think it may have been Billie Eilish.
Oh, okay. Possible.
I'm almost certain I read that because I think we even discussed it once. I don't know with you, but one time it was discussed on the air. And as a matter of fact, I think Christopher Cross felt a little snubbed because he reached out to her to say, welcome to the club. 0 response.
Which is a shame because Christopher Cross is amazing.
Well, you don't have to like him, but you have to respect what he means.
I always love
American
that one.
Modern music. Well, you do. I liked Christopher Cross, quite frankly.
I was being sincere. I do like Christopher Cross. You don't have to like him.
You don't have to like him, but you have to respect him. No, I do like him, too.
I know.
Sailing.
Oh, yeah.
Arthur's Theme. That's from the movie that won the best song. That was that won a Academy Award.
When you get lost between the moon and New York City.
That's exactly right. You you snickered at it like it's not a good song. It was a great tune.
Yeah, no, it's It's corny.
Well,
I know it won a big award, and I know it was a theme. Do you remember the movie, Arthur, with Dudley Moore?
Yeah, of course I do.
Not good. 10 was a way better movie.
Best New Artist, because we're going to skip I'm tired of talking about records and songs. Benson Boone, Sabrina Carpenter, Megan Maroney, Ray, letters all capitalized, by the way.
Well, of course they are.
R-A-Y-E.
That means you say it, Ray!
Ray. Chapel Roan, Sexy Red with 2 X's. Sexy Red.
That is sad.
Do we know who Sexy Red is?
I don't, but now I have to look it up.
Shabuzi and Teddy Swims, and I think Shabuzi should win.
You don't know anything about Shabuzi.
Just the name kind of sticks out like a sore thumb.
Teddy Swims, I think, is still on a roll. I mean, getting nominated, I think, is probably a given.
If he loses, does the headline say Teddy sinks?
It's not the 1940s, okay? Nobody does that kind of stuff anymore.
New York Post does all the time.
Well, yeah, but
They're really good at headlines.
We don't live in a place like that. No. Teddy sinks.
Yeah, well, he doesn't. Maybe sinks.
Yeah, could you see Rolling Stone printing an article that says Teddy sinks?
I could, actually.
Yeah. I'm going Chapel Roan again here because I feel like there's a movement afoot, and I think she's got it all locked up.
What about Sexy Red?
Oh, sorry, I got distracted.
Google Sexy Red.
I'm working on it with 2 X's, you say? Just 1 D on the... Oh.
Do you know Sexy Red?
I sure do not.
Do you wish you did? Is Sexy Red male or female, first of all?
This is a good question because it's looking a little...
Or are they an alien?
I don't know the answer.
Is it an AI-generated... When will the day we have an AI-generated artist, we find out that we buy their records, we go see them in concert, we find out they don't even really exist, they're artificially inseminated.
No, I needed to...
Isn't that what AI stands for?
No. It's sure not. I was not looking at good pictures, and I was like, this might be someone in the transitional situation. But no, she uses she, her pronouns, and American rapper rose to prominence with the release of her single Pound Town with Kay Keith.
Pound Town.
Not to be confused with the remix sequel Pound Town 2. Because, you come out with that one first song, and you're like, wait, was I supposed to have more songs? And then you put out Pound Town 2.
You're right, Pound Town. That's what you do if you're Sexy Red.
It's what Sexy Red did, and apparently she also has a follow-up single to that called Ski Yee, which is Skeeyee. Yeah, and then she put out a mixtape called Hood Hottest Princess back in 2023. Last year, she put out a song called Get It Sexy, also with 2 X's. And
you got to have the double X. Some will do the triple X.
And she got into the top 20 of the chart with her 3rd mixtape, In Sexy We Trust.
Someone says we should call this Pop Talk instead of Rock Talk. Well, that's what's up.
Well, the Grammys, man. Yeah. I mean, and that's part of the commercial and cultural musical environment. You don't have to like it.
I mean, but you have to respect it.
Exactly.
Well, I wish what we were talking about right now was the nominees are Simon and Garfunkel, the Beatles. I mean, I wish we were, but we're not. They're yesterday's news.
That ship has sailed.
Those have sailed. They're gone.
There's probably going to be, some lifetime achievement stuff, some musical excellence stuff that'll be a little more in your wheelhouse. But this year, man, I mean, what if Sexy Red takes the whole shebang home? Just boom. We now live in Sexy Red's universe.
This is it. Well, speaking aside, real quick on Simon and Garfunkel, we always knew they kind of didn't get along and broke up because of that, right?
Right.
I didn't realize, now I don't know if this is all brand, because I've seen some recent interviews which have been done just the last couple of months, and it seems like it's even worse than we ever thought it was. What was wrong with, here's what Paul Simon was mad about. Garfunkel was getting all these movie parts and such like that. And Paul, because his voice, obviously, they're both distinct and unique voices. But as far as voice quality, our Garfunkel was, he could break glass. He was brilliant, right? So he was considered the better singer. And so he was a little envious and jealous because Art would go off and say, just tell me when you got the songs, then I'll come back and we'll do them. And, here's Paul burning the midnight oil, writing all the songs. Go, wait a minute now.
Yeah.
I'm writing them all, working, and you're singing them and getting all the credit. I don't know if I'm happy about this.
Well, but if Paul Simon's writing all of them, he's getting all the mailbox money.
But it's not just that. It's that ego thing, and so he was bitter about it because Paul thought Paul, because he just thought, Art just goes out and stars in movies now, and when he's got time, he'll step into the studio and he'll knock them out, and then he's back out to his Hollywood lifestyle. And Paul didn't like it.
You know that I've interviewed Art Garfunkel, right?
You've told me that.
Yeah, and he was nice, but he was not entirely there. He sounded like a guy who rode the wave through the 60s and 70s, and he's like a groovy artist type who isn't too hung up about anything.
Well, when they did their reunion concert, they had 500,000 people show up for that.
Of course. Oh, the one in Central Park?
Yeah. Now that's... I don't care. You don't have to like Simon and Garfunkel.
Oh, my God.
But you can draw 500,000 people to a reunion concert. That's... How many people can do that? I suppose Taylor Swift could, but not many other people are going to get a million people, 500,000 people. Yeah, I'll go and jam pack like a sardine with another 499,999 people to watch somebody sing a couple of songs.
Here's the deal. Taylor Swift could do that anywhere and pull in 500,000 people. But when you consider Simon and Garfunkel's relationship with New York City, that's, that makes sense. There are people probably who went out that hadn't been to a show in 20 years before they went down to New York. Central Park
song,
that
The
night.
Only Living Boy from New York? Was that the name of the song?
That was one.
Yeah. Always good to see you. And again, if they want the Brian Oak podcast, what do they do?
Well, R.I.P. Phil Lesh of the Grateful Dead, who I thought we were going to talk about today.
Well, you're not a big Grateful Dead guy, you said.
But I know a lot about them. I lived with 5 Deadheads for 5 years.
Let's do Phil Lesh next week.
Okay, we'll do Phil Lesh next week. It's called the Brian Oak Show podcast, available everywhere, not everywhere, but many places you get your fine podcasts. But we always recommend utilizing the iHeartRadio app, which is 100% free and the #1 destination for podcasts.
And I do apologize to Phil Lesh survivors because, they always say gone but not forgotten. He's gone and I forgot because I texted you we were going to talk about it. So I did forget about Phil.
Yeah.
I forgot and I apologize to Phil.
We'll hit Phil heavy next week.
We'll do it. Mark Rosen joins us next here on The Fan.